Every time I tell somebody that I don't have health insurance, I get this reaction. What do you do?
Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about health insurance scam. Health insurance is sold as a safety net, but for millions, it's barely a threat. People pay hundreds or even thousands every month only to be hit with surprise bills, denied claims, and sky-high deductibles. Even with good insurance, basic care often isn't affordable, and a specialist visit or emergency room trips can bankrupt a family. Providers are in network one day, out the next, and the fine print designed to confuse, not protect. Insurance companies rake in billions while patients fight just to get the care they already paid for. Many avoid going to the doctor entirely because they fear the bill more than the illness. It's a system where profits come before people, where staying healthy is a luxury, not right. And for the uninsured, the options are even worse. It's not just broken, it's rich. What's called health insurance is often just financial and anxiety in disguise. So let's dive into the video, guys.
Did you guys hear the news? United Healthcare Group is being investigated by the Department of Justice. So what's going on? United Healthcare has been accused of inflating diagnoses for Medicare Advantage patients. What this means is that they're basically making individuals look sicker so that they get a bigger reimbursement. United Health Group is the biggest health insurer in the US, so it is a pretty big deal, being that they manage millions of patients annually. Earlier this month, the DOJ started interviewing former employees at United Health, and then just today, United Health came out with a statement stating that they are going to cooperate with the civil and justice probes. This entire ordeal not only affects individuals that have a portfolio in their stock, but it also impacts the patient substantially. If United Health ends up having to pay certain fines, they might actually end up dropping some of their Medicare Advantage plans. They might even increase their premiums. Being that there is a loss of potential trust for the patients too, this might cause strain on doctor-patient relationships. If you are somebody that does have this Advantage plan, it might be worth looking at your diagnoses list inside of your patient portal just to make sure that everything is accurate. And if you don't have access to your patient portal, you can always reach out to your physician's office. They would be able to provide that for you too.
Insurance is such a scam, and I will never comprehend how medical insurance companies can literally determine what they think a patient needs when they are not no fucking doctors, and they literally have medical staff and doctors telling them what they need, but the insurance companies can be like, no, they don't need it. It's really infuriating, and I can now understand why people get so upset with them. So, for example, my mom has been in the hospital since June the 8th. She was found unresponsive. Turns out she ended up having meningitis, which caused her to have 2 strokes. She aspirated, got vomit in her lungs, ended up getting pneumonia. So she was in the ICU for like the first 11 days. And she was in the ICU for longer than that, but she was in a coma for the first 11 days. Couldn't do nothing, move, talk. She just slept. We weren't even sure if she was going to ever wake up because of the extent of trauma that her brain endured from the meningitis and the stroke. We just weren't even sure. Anyways, so fast forward, it's however many days now since June the 8th. My mom has went from being asleep in a coma to slowly weaning out of a coma, starting to be able to register movement. Then once she moved from that, she started being able to move her arms. Then once she moved from that, she started being able to talk. Meanwhile, she had a trach in, she had a feeding tube in, she couldn't eat, she couldn't breathe on her own. Now she's in a new hospital where she's literally off of oxygen. They took her trach out. She's moving her arms. She can literally feed herself now. Like, the improvement that she has made in such a short amount of time, considering her odds, is just crazy to me, because we didn't even think we would get to this point. My mom can talk now. She is ready. She's ready to go to the next step, and the next step is rehabilitation. physical therapy. That my mom has been in a bed for 40 days, as you can imagine. She's gotten stiff and she needs some help and work moving her body again. But insurance may not approve it because they don't think she's made enough progress. So I want to know what kind of fucking progress you would expect someone to make in that kind of position. Like, she's made huge progress. I don't understand. Literally just a week ago, she came to. She didn't have no memory of any of us until a week ago. Now, she's literally feeding herself. She's talking to us. She remembers her birthday. She remembers things. She's starting to get, like today, she got put in a wheelchair. She was able to actually get out of bed. So what progress do you mean you need to see her do? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful because insurance has got us this far where she's at, and they have approved almost everything so far. But, like, this is the next healing step to be able to get her home, and it's very crucial. Our insurance is allowed to be the ultimate sayer and not the medical staff and team behind their patients.
You all know how insurance works, right? It's privatized gains, socialized losses. Privatized gains, socialized losses. If insurance companies had to actually make people whole and pay out all these claims, it wouldn't work. Like, just the math wouldn't work. It would never work. What they're selling you is the idea that you're going to pay a little bit of money every month, but then if you have something happen, then they're going to pay all this money out. And if everybody had something happen, or just even a plurality of people had something happen, then there's no way. So they have to deny all these claims. That there's just no way for that not to be the case because math, okay? That's just reality. It's why I have never paid for health insurance in my entire life, because I can do the math on it. And as soon as I ask the salesperson to explain to me the math on, like, what if this happens, and there's just, then if you pin them down, they tell you, well, there's an exclusion. I know you're lying to me. Okay, this is just what happens if you're in business long enough, you can spot bullshit a mile away. Okay, be in business long enough and you will spot bullshit everywhere. In fact, it's hard to walk around anywhere because there's so much bullshit because you've been in business long enough. So my suggestion to the medical field is you're going to have to dump insurance companies altogether and reduce your prices substantially, and just do it for cash. Cash being in the generic sense, meaning I don't mean paper dollars, or I'm talking about just like cash as in a transaction with no debt attached. So I'm using the term cash in the generic sense. You get the idea? You're going to have to probably do something like that. Well, but then I can't afford to pay my student loans. Like, well, who cares? Who cares if you can't pay student loans back? Who gives a shit about those people? It's not like they siphon the medical knowledge out of your head because you didn't give them any fucking money, right? You still did. Well, they'll pull my medical degree. Then become a mob doctor. Just do it like everybody else does. Put up bandit signs all over town. Medical stuff. Call this number and have it go to a Google phone. Like, dude, learn to become a fucking criminal, just like everybody else, because that's the world in which you currently live.
Something that doesn't make sense to you, but we encounter it every day.
How much of a scam health insurance is. I'm a naturopathic doctor, so we don't take in health insurance for our visits, but we can accept it for running labs. And it's crazy to me that a comprehensive lab panel costs $3,500 to $4,000 at LabCorp. That's what they bill your insurance, but you often get stuck with a bill of like $300, $400, $500 with your insurance. Now, if we ran all of these labs self-pay, no insurance involved, about $300. And you got to think, this cash pay lab is obviously making a profit on this $300 lab panel, yet LabCorp over here is charging $4,000 for the same panel. They're billing some to your insurance and you still get stuck with a $500 bill. What?
Also, while I'm out here talking about my PCOS journey, let's talk about the medical bills that I have racked up. I pay $350 a month for insurance. I'm told that my insurance is the best that it could possibly be. That's why I pay so much. My lazy eye just kind of went crazy. Why do I now have $3,000 in medical bills just from getting my blood drawn, getting a pelvic ultrasound, my office visits? I keep getting these notifications that, I have new prices, your new copay, your new out of pocket. I paid $370 to get my ultrasound done, and they now have hit me with a $2,000 bill for that. I'm sorry, I thought I paid for that. Also, you're not getting my money. You're not getting my money. I don't fucking care. You're not getting my money.
So I don't normally jump on that health insurance is a scam, but today it is absolutely a scam and I swear it's fraud. I need an MRI on my back because I hurt my back. My clinic sent it over to a hospital. They ran it through my insurance. They called me and said, hey, your portion of it that you're going to have to pay after insurance is $5,100 for this MRI. So I'm like, wow, okay. I was like, before we do that, like, just wait, because I'm like, $5,100 just seems wild. I called another place who was also waiting for my insurance to go through to see how much it was going to be. My insurance was still on hold with them, but I asked them, hey, if I just cash pay this, how much is it going to cost for this MRI? And they're like, well, if you just want to cash pay it, not run anything through insurance, it's $700. And so I'm like, sounds a lot better than $5,100. So I called the original hospital back and said, hey, if I don't run this through insurance, what is the cost if I just decide to self-pay it, since I know the other place is $700? The lady's like, I'll rerun it under you being self-pay and I'll call you back with your total. So a few minutes go by, the lady calls me back and she goes, hey, I talked to my supervisor. Since you have insurance, we are not going to let you self-pay it, so we won't give you that number. How is that not a scam? Isn't it my choice if I want to self-pay something versus running it through my insurance? I should get to decide that, not you, but they're like, nope, since you have insurance and you've already done it that way, we are not going to allow you to self-pay it. And I think that's because they probably were going to give me a self-pay price, kind of like the other place, maybe a $700, maybe up to $1,300, still way less than $5,100 that it was going to make me pay. And I just think, like, what if, somebody wouldn't, like, what if I wouldn't have called around? I would have been stuck with this $5,100 bill. Insurance is such a ripoff. I don't know how in the world this hospital is telling me that I now can't self-pay it. What does it matter? I'm going to go to the other place, but I don't know how this hospital is allowed to now tell me, hey, yeah, you can't self-pay something if you have already had us run it through your insurance. I haven't even had it yet.
Healthcare's falling at this hour as a company reveals in an 8K that it is under investigation by the DOJ on both civil and criminal charges with regard to its Medicaid practice. The company telling CNBC that it proactively went to speak to the DOJ, given all of the reports, many of them coming from the Wall Street Journal, about the investigation going on. The company does point out that it has launched an internal audit to look at its practices in Medicare as well as in its PBM pharmacy benefits unit. They do not expect that internal report will be ready when they report earnings next Tuesday. It will likely take through the third quarter in order to come with that, but they are very confident that they will be able to meet these charges. They have note that they did win a special master in a separate case last March, recommended that the DOJ's case not go forward when it comes to fraud.
Thanks, guys, and let's continue watching the videos. I do
Gen Z loses our parents' health insurance at 26. So here's the U.S. healthcare scam explained in 2 minutes. In the U.S., we use a health insurance-based model, and insurance companies farm you in 3 different ways. First, there's your monthly premium. It's like a streaming subscription for your health. 2, you've got a copay out of pocket every time you use the plan, kind of like renting a movie on a streaming platform you already pay for. And a deductible. It's the amount you have to pay before the company will even pitch in and help. Those rates are based on how expensive they've calculated your healthcare is going to be over your lifetime. The older and sicker you are, the more they charge you. Before Obamacare came around in 2010, they could just completely refuse to take you as a customer if you had pre-existing conditions like cancer, because the point here for a company is to make money, not to keep you healthy. We pay more for healthcare here than any other developed country in the world by far. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy in the US, and it's not even a word in Europe or Canada. That's because greedy, unnecessary, for-profit middlemen make billions in our system while contributing absolutely nothing to it. Health insurance companies are parasitic. They literally add nothing. Their entire business model revolves around charging you more money than it costs to cover your care. So every dollar of profit that they make is just stolen from patients. They also reject as many patient claims as possible. And this is the immoral practice that bothered a certain Luigi enough to act out. But it's not just insurance. There are other middlemen scamming us. Pharmaceutical companies develop drugs using taxpayer-funded research and then sell us back those drugs at a jacked-up rate. PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, almost no one can tell you what they do. It really seems like their whole job is just to make everything more complicated and expensive. In the wealthiest nation in human history, the ambulance should not cost as much as a semester of college, and you shouldn't have to wait on hold for an hour to see a doctor. Medicare and Medicaid are two wildly popular federal programs that ensure healthcare for the sick, disabled, impoverished, and elderly populations. We could simply expand Medicare to include everyone, cut out the middlemen, and save countless lives and trillions of dollars. But lobbyists have bought off both sides of the aisle, making sure our politicians do nothing to fix this. I'm calling out corruption on both sides and making our system just a bit more understandable.
Every time I tell somebody that I don't have health insurance, I get this reaction. What do you do? What are you going to do? I go to the doctor if I need to, and I pay out of pocket. It would cost me $1,200 a month out of my paycheck to put my family of 5 on a health insurance plan through my job. And as somebody who's not very sickly and doesn't have a very sickly family, I really just can't imagine giving $1,200 a month to an insurance company who's going to turn around and tell me what they are and are not going to pay for, and then they're still going to make me pay a copay when I go to the doctor's office. And by the way, the copays that y'all pay is pretty much what I pay cash out of pocket when I go. So I have this grand idea that if we all did not sign up for insurance and instead take that money that you would spend to your insurance company every month and put it into a savings account that is strictly just for your medical things, then you get to decide what you pay for medically, and you don't have somebody else telling you who has your money that you paid saying, oh, we're not going to pay for that. We don't think it's necessary. I know that may not be ideal for everybody and everybody's situation, and there are situations where insurance is a good thing and it really does help, especially state-funded insurances for people that are in, tragic situations or need like a lot of long-term care, or families with special needs, children, and I get that. So I know it's not for everybody. But also, everybody doesn't necessarily need insurance. In my opinion, I'm fine. And if something bad happens and I get into a car wreck, they're not going to take me up in there and be like, well, I see you got 2 broken legs and you're bleeding from your right lung, but we got to send this one home because she don't have health insurance. Guess what? They're still going to treat me. And then I'm just going to pay, the minimum monthly payment on my bill if I need to do that until I get it paid off. Or, maybe I'll save up what I would pay to my insurance company and I'll pay it towards that hospital bill. I mean, that's what makes the most sense to me if you really think about it. Why would I pay an insurance company $1,200 a month and then I'm still going to have to go to the hospital and they're going to overcharge my insurance company, but then I'm going to also have to come out of pocket, I don't know, maybe another $1,200 to the hospital, and it's a scam, guys. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and that's how I choose to live my life. Don't judge me for that.
I'm watching a video of a girl saying, why does she not pay health insurance? And I thought to myself, what better time than now to come on here and share my experience as to why I chose to quit paying health insurance. Okay, so back in November of 23, my husband and I became self-employed, like full-time. No more W-2 job, which meant no more work insurance, right? So immediately I started searching for like the best healthcare plan. Okay, I was paying $2,100 a month. 2,100. Okay, my daughter had a near-death drowning incident of April of 2024. Long story short, I think that insurance is going to be taking care of this for me. Majority of it anyway, right? Yeah. Okay, so long story short, the insurance company wasn't going to pay a dime towards her life flight bill. Sorry, I'm at some house getting my husband's boat. Anyway, they weren't going to pay a dime. I don't know. I called the life flight company. So for transparency, that bill was $70,000. They wasn't going to pay a dime. Not one single dime. Okay, moving on. So the life flight company actually ends up arguing with them a little bit, and I think they ended up paying like $10,000 and something on dollars. And I kid you not, she calls to tell me that my bill is now decreased by $60,000 because insurance decided to pay $10,000. And she was like, I just want you to know that if you were self-pay, we would only be charging you $20-something thousand right now. And at that moment, I called and dropped our insurance. It's been grand since. I went to the hospital in January, the emergency room, my entire bill, and I had CT, MRI, and ultrasound done. You want to know what the total of my bill was? Oh, and a hospital stay. Oh, and morphine. You want to know what the total of my hospital stay was? Like $1,800. I was paying $2,100 a month. Anyways, yeah, health insurance is a scam.
United Healthcare, I have a question. If you're not United Healthcare, maybe you also can, feel my, irritation. United Healthcare, I have paid $7,171.20 this year to have just medical insurance. That's not including the eyeball and the dental stuff. Okay, so now that I've read that off to you, I went to the doctor in May, paid $15 for my copay. Awesome. Had my assessment done, got some blood work done, and then I got a bill in the mail today that says I owe my doctor's office $73 more because you didn't pay for something, and so now it's on me. Why can't you take that $73 out of the $7,000 that I've paid so far? I mean, I work in healthcare. Like, this makes no sense at all.
Not just health insurance, but any form of insurance, period. They all scams. If you giving somebody money and they're not doing nothing for you, you got scammed. I don't give a damn what BS excuse you want to come up with. Oh, you need this for the police. Yeah, another reason you dealing with that gang, huh? They getting more money out you. Don't you see it, bro? This is a Gestapo. This is a mafia.
Gotta lower healthcare costs. The healthcare industry is insanely idiotic. Insurance companies, I'll be blunt honest with this, is the biggest effing scam in the country, if not the world. Get rid of it. We need a better solution.
Hey, thanks a ton for watching. I really appreciate all the likes, shares, and everyone who subscribed. Seriously helps the channel grows. If you're new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. I've got more videos coming your way soon. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.